Hello, my beautiful wildflowers. How are you today? Alexis here with Haute Modesty. Well, here we are, Haute Keto. And today I will be explaining to you the importance of monitoring your ketones and your blood sugars. So if you're interested in finding out about that, please stay tuned. Okay, welcome back, my beautiful wildflowers. As you notice, the background's a little different. Well, I did pull down the screen because, like I've been saying, I'm getting ready to move. So I really need to start moving things around. And I needed that backdrop took a lot of space. So I needed to move that aside. So now you get the background that I used to originally have, right? So anyway, before further ado, we need to do our affirmation cards. But guess what? I have good news. I got a stack of them now. You see this? I found great ones, and I want to mix it up a little bit, right? So the boxes I got is Power of Thought cards, Gratitude, Cultivating a Grateful Heart, okay? And You Got This, which is when you need a little motivation. And these are our basic affirmation cards that we've been doing. So I wanted to give you guys a mix up because you guys do really like this stuff. So I said, why not? So today we will go with the Power Thought cards, okay? And so let's get started. Okay, the first thing in the card, it has a little note from the author. It says, "Dear friends, these cards are an outgrowth of the affirmative sayings I used to give to my clients to help them find their inner strength as they worked on issues nagging from self-esteem to romance to prosperity and love. Post these cards in your home, workplace, car, or give them to friends and family. Read a different one each morning and watch your day unfold effortlessly and powerfully." And her name is Louise Hay. So yeah, it has a little information about the card, and here she is. Okay, so let's see, Louise. How'd you do? The first card in the deck. Okay. And it says, it is safe to look within. That's a good one. It is safe to look within. Sounds very simple, right? I mean, looking within yourself, kind of really getting to know yourself. But believe it or not, there are people out there who fear looking in within because of the stigma that they have created by listening to other people give opinions about them, right? And so there's plenty of people out there who suffer from that. And then what that leads to is anxiety and lack of self-confidence. That's it. God, I got to spit that out. So anyway, yeah, so this is really important. Let's see. Oh, there's a writing on the back. Let's see what it says. Let me see. Hold on 1 minute. I had to get my magnifying glass and it was down there. So I don't want to read this wrong. It says, "As I move through the layers of other people's opinions and beliefs, I see within myself a magnificent being, wise and beautiful. I love what I see in me." So exactly, this is exactly what I was thinking, that, sometimes when you've been told that you're not smart or you're not beautiful or you're not skinny enough, and people actually say these things to other people, which, to this day, it doesn't surprise me anymore, but it's very disappointing. So what happens at that point is that you become scared to look within. But this is where your beauty lies. This is where your essence and your soul lies, right? So don't be afraid. I mean, it's like peeling back a layer of onions, though. It may be painful, may bring tears to your eyes as you peel back each layer, but it has to be done if you're to find who you are. And, you're worth it. So, yeah, good card. Okay, this box was the Power Thoughts. So, yeah, get powerful. Okay, alrighty, so now we are into the measuring your ketones, right? And so what I did was I continued my presentation so I don't miss anything, so I have it in front of me. And so the first thing I want to talk to you about is the importance of monitoring your progress, your baseline, and how you're going, right? Where you started from and where you want to get to. And only way you're going to get to your goal is if you know where you started, right? So this is where monitoring starts. And when you monitor, the best way to monitor is do it objectively, which means don't guess. Like some people say, well, I feel like I'm in ketosis, so I'm in ketosis. Don't count on that because it's never accurate, okay? And then so what you want to do is you want to use some kind of an appliance. There's 3 ways you can do that. You can do either urine, breath, or blood. And urine, a lot of people use it, but it could be, it's not very accurate, to be honest with you, okay? Because there's different aspects that go into the urine ketones. If you have an overload of ketones that's kind of that's in the system, but that's not being used, and it's waste, and you urinate out, and you're using that strip, it's going to say you're in ketosis or you have high ketones, yet you don't have enough circulating ketones in your body to be doing what it needs to do with the metabolism. And it has a lot to do with what it's called mitochondria, which is a powerhouse of your system, but I'm not going to get into that piece of it. But and then the next one is the breath, okay? They have the breathalyzer type of thing where you can monitor your ketones that way. That one's a little bit more accurate, but still not the gold standard. The gold standard is monitoring your blood, okay? And this is how, for anything, when you go to the doctors in the hospital, what do? They monitor your blood for different things. So same thing with ketones and sugar, okay? And the important thing is that you know when to test and what you're testing. So a lot of people will test the sugar to say, oh, my sugar's high, so my ketones must be low. That's not necessarily true. And vice versa. My ketones high, so my blood glucose might be low. That's also not true, okay? This is a reason why there is a calculation to that stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and flash for you right now what I do and what ketones and sugar calculated together into a formula will give you. It is called a ketone glucose index, right? Or glucose ketone index is how they call it, GKI. And so what is it? It's the ratio of the blood glucose to ketones, okay? So how you will calculate this normally would be you would take the glucose and you divide it by 18, and then you divide that total by the ketone value, which will give you the ketone index, the glucose ketone index. And when you're doing a glucose reading, you measure that by milligrams per deciliter. And then for the ketones, you should be millimoles per liter. And all of that sounds really scientific, and you don't really have to do all that by hand because you can also go to a website like Keto Mojo. And there is a calculator there if you don't have a machine that does both. Let's say you do glucose on one machine, ketones in another, and it won't give you the index. That's okay because you can plug it into this website, and I will drop that below. And just a quick calculator. You just plug in your numbers, push the button, it tells you what your GKI is. And also, why is GKI important? Because it gives you a view of your metabolic status, not what you're eliminating and not what you're breathing, but what your state of ketosis is, how much ketosis you are in that's useful to your weight loss journey. Okay, so this is a reason why it's really important. And I will do the reading for myself at the end, and I will attach it so you'll see how I do my testing and equipment I use. And I'll also tell you what the ketone readings mean, but I will tell you, like for example, as you see right here in the left side bottom here, or it might be right side bottom, depending on how the video comes out, less than 1 of the reading is in the deepest state of ketosis. 1 to 3 is high state of ketosis. 3 to 6 is moderate ketosis, and 6 to 9 is light ketosis. So anything above 9, you are not in ketosis. And unlike the actual ketones number, where you want higher the ketone number, the better, right? Well, for the index, less is better. So when you're looking at somebody who's being treated for brain tumor, epilepsy, Alzheimer's, they want to keep people 1 or under, which is the deepest state of ketosis. And matter of fact, I did record my finger stick today, and I am fasting for religious reasons. And so I haven't had anything to drink, anything to eat, or anything like that for over 20 hours now. And so you will notice my GKI is 0.9, which will fall under therapeutic for somebody who is being treated for an ailment. And that's not the lowest I've ever been. I've been 0.8, but you really shouldn't go that much below that. So actually the best place to be is between 1 and 6. Okay, that's where you want to be, between 1 and 6. Better, if you could do 3 and 6, that's perfect, right? But sometimes, especially, I don't eat on time or whatever, and then I end up with a very low index. So that's another thing. That brings me to the next topic is when should you test? When you test, you should do it after you wake up, and it depends on how insulin resistant you are. In other words, if you're somebody with a high sugar or possibly diabetic, right, you should test about 2 to 3 hours after you wake up, okay? And then those of you who are just, non-insulin resistant, they're 1 hour after you wake up before you have any meals, okay? And after the other times that I usually test myself is about 1.5 to 2 hours after my meals to see how I am metabolizing the food I eat, and also, did I just eat something? Let's say I go somewhere and I don't know exactly what the ingredients are, but they tell me there's no sugar in it. And about 1 hour to 2 after I eat that meal, I will test. And then when I see the results, I will know if there was any sugar or any carbs in that meal, regardless of what they told me. So if my numbers are good, then I'll say, okay, there's, make a note. I can eat that again. If it goes up slightly, I'll be like, okay, I'm not going to eat that again. So you can, use that. Actually, you can use it for a lot of things like that, right? And also trying to figure out when you get to a point, like I've been doing keto for a while, I may be able to have like a half a slice of bread and get away with it and not break ketosis, right? I think I can eat a whole slice of wheat bread, the seeded breads. Actually, I think it's, I forgot what they're called, gluten-free ones. And I'm okay? But you have to get there. And this is how you test it. And when you've been in ketosis for a long time and you break ketosis a little, you recover very quick. I recover in less than maybe 8 hours. And so that's another thing. That's why you want to test as well. So you know that how you can eat and go to your next step. And then I think that's it, because right now I'm going to go ahead and plug in my testing. And I'm sorry about the beginning because I had to actually record using my iPhone because this won't go. I don't have a stand for it or a tripod for it, which I do for my iPhone. And there's a little glare on the very first part of it. But all of the equipment I'm using, I will go ahead and link it below. If you go to the site, they have different variations of them. I got the deluxe one, which gives me everything I need to test and some, okay? And so I'll go ahead and drop down there for you. And then, yeah, so just hold on and you will see. Oh, disclaimer, if you don't like the sight of blood, please don't watch it, okay? Because I do stick my finger, okay? And there's a little bit. It's like a little bead of blood, okay? If that doesn't bother you, it's okay. But I want to tell you that up front. Okay, my beautiful wildflowers. Hold on. Here it comes. Okay, my beautiful wildflowers. I did say that I will go ahead and show you how I do my testing for my keto index. So the other part of the video will tell you all about actually ketosis and how you can tell for sure if you are in fact in ketosis. So what I did was I purchased this kit from Keto Mojo, and I will go ahead and link it below. And this actually comes with everything you need to monitor. Okay, the first thing is you get your monitor here. Okay, and I'm trying to record this looking down on something, so sorry about that if it's a little bit off-centered here. But you get your meter, then you get your actual where you stick your fingers with, okay? And what I usually do is I keep some cotton in the actual envelope that doesn't come with it, in the little holder. And also comes with some of the lancets. These are the parts that actually they have to stay sterile, and that's the sterile piece is underneath here, so you don't take it off until, of course, you need it. And I'll show you how to load it afterwards, okay? The CopyJet, this here. And so what I will do is, and it comes with these strips, and this is actually for glucose. And this is for the ketones, and they do come separate, and they used to come in a little like a round a container, but now they come like separated like this, right? Which is a lot more, I think it's a COVID thing where they want to make sure everything is really secure. And then another thing too, what I would recommend you to do is go to, if you have a Costco or some kind of pharmacy nearby, get these prep pads and try to get, the ones that are, a little bit more expensive, which means $1 more maybe, and a whole box would be $5, a box 100, instead of going through Amazon, because I had a bad experience with Amazon, and they just weren't the type of alcohol that should be used frequently. It made a wood alcohol is what happened. And I think that happened because of the shortage, right? So anyway, so this is what I usually do. I lay everything out, and I will also pre-open these because otherwise I don't want to be sticking my fingers and then, you know, trying to open it. And what I do is I stage it. I prop it on something like this so I can reach for it, but you may not be able to see it since I have limited space. So I'm going to go ahead and prop it over here, I think off screen, but I will go ahead and show you how to do the rest. And then I go ahead and, like I said, sometimes these are hard to tear, and I'm always afraid that I'm going to tear the strips, but I won't. And these don't have to stay sterile. I have already washed my hands, guys. And so that's another thing. Even though you're using alcohol prep pads, please do wash your hands prior, and just to keep yourself safe. And so what I do at first is I go ahead and take a look at that, and I take the cotton swab and I take the finger that I'm gonna use, and I don't just wipe a little bit, I actually wipe the whole top tip of my finger. And as a nurse, we're taught to do this continuous wipe for 15 seconds. And you should apply some pressure to it to get off whatever dirt you may have, or, you know, any soap residual or anything like that. And so I just go ahead and do this for a little while, okay? For about, like I said, for about 15 seconds. And then once you finish doing this, try not to touch that finger again. Otherwise, you'll have to kind of wipe over it just real quick. And then the part that I actually wiped on here, I put it upward, okay? And let's see. And next thing I do is I try not to touch this finger, but I didn't want to arm this any earlier than I have to because it does time out. And I stick it in here. When you stick it in here, as you notice, it turns on, okay? And next, what I do is have my cotton ready here, and I take this and I actually load it. And when that little red indicator comes, I know that it is, you know, good to go. So what I do is I put it firmly here and I push the button. And at that time, if you can't, I should probably do a disclaimer. If you don't do well with blood, you know, you may not want to see this part. And then I wipe off the first one always, because there's serous fluids at the tips of your fingers, and I don't want them to pick up the additional fluid. And so you just simply do this, and then I put it down. And then meanwhile, I just wait. And my glucose is 59. It's telling me that it is too low. I am fasting today, guys, so it's gonna be low. But it gives you an alarm, you notice, saying, hey, warning, your glucose is pretty low. And then next, I will go ahead and stick in and there's a hole here, by the way, and it's lighted. There you go. And this is for the ketones bar. I wipe again and I squeeze again because I don't want any kind of fluids that might have come to the surface of the blood. So I just want fresh blood each time. Okay, and now it's gonna go and do its reading. And meanwhile, I'm gonna go ahead and cover my hand here and just like this and hold it like that, so that way I don't get blood all over the place. Okay, my ketones, is 3.4, and for this part, higher the better. And now we're gonna go ahead and get my phone, and I will go ahead, well, I have my phone right here recording, so I'm gonna have to show you that piece. Let me see. Hold on one second. Okay, and to upload it, I'm gonna have to show you using the other camera because I'm actually recording with the phone. So I'm gonna have to, my program of Keto Mojo that actually does the calculation for me is actually in the phone that I'm recording with. I didn't think of that ahead of time. But anyway, so yeah, I need to do that. And I'll show you, I'll put it together so you won't be able to tell after the edit. And another thing I do is I go ahead and to remove this, I have this container, and this is just a very hard container with a lid on it. And the reason why I use this is because I have my biohazard box is much bigger, and so I pour it into here. I use this because it's much easier to handle, and then I put it into the bigger box. I transfer it into the bigger box, and what I do is I take it like this and I just release that. And I close it up, make sure that gets closed up, make sure it has a good lid on it. And then I get it ready for next time. Just hold it like this. Like I said, you really need to keep this part sterile because this is a part that's gonna stick you, as you can see. And be very careful to put this back and kind of find its way. and it's ready to go. Next time all you do is pull this back. Okay, so I think the interesting part is to see. Okay, my beautiful wildflowers, I had to do this a couple of times, so I had to wait for the second finger stick because the one that I recorded the results, there was no volume at all, and I couldn't do a voiceover for some reason, so I apologize for that. So here it is. This is the app that I use, which is Keto Mojo, and this is the meter. And so this is how you find out what the GKI is. You go to your Keto Mojo app, and it just opens up. And by the way, this app has a lot more than just syncing. It also has, you can sync to your devices, and I think there's like 20 devices you can connect to. So the first thing I want to do is, here's the sync button here, okay? This is sync. And what I will do is I will go ahead and hit sync, and it's searching for the device, and that's when I hit this here, and now it's on. You'll see the syncing device start to sync. There it goes. And it says what it's paired with. And so that's it. And it automatically shuts off. And now what I do is to check what my GKI is. I just click on check and then scroll up. I am in a GKI even heavier than I was this morning, which is like, it says you are in the highest therapeutic level ketosis, which is 0.7, because my glucose was 76 and my ketones is 5.4, and this is because I had over 24 hours of fasting. Okay, and it's not because of the ketos, but it's actually for my religious reasons. And on the bottom it says, previously I was 0.9. That was this morning that you saw, which I had a glucose of 59 because it was early in the morning. Your sugars are low anyway, and the ketones was 3.4. And so it does give you all of this information. It does keep the record for you as you go. Like 1.5, that's kind of like where I, that's where I usually live, 1.5 to 2. But 0.9 and 0.7 is indicative when I am actually fasting. So that's it, easy as that. And also, I wanted to share another app with you real quick, and that is the Carb Manager, I think. Yeah, Carb Manager. And this is where I keep all of my diet of what I eat. And this is a great app, and I really like it. Their library is huge. You just scan what's on the barcode if you're eating something. Again, I've fasted today, so there is no information because I've not eaten or drank anything at all, including water. And so, but normally there would be, there would be some information like here. And it does, yesterday I ended the day with 8 grams still left. I ate 190 calories left. I had 190 calories left. I had 7 grams of fat left and 38 grams of protein left when I finished eating. And I was very satiated yesterday. And of course, I'm fasting today, so I would have eaten, regularly. And also, there is, this is really nice because if you want recipes, there is like zillions of recipes in here, and it's tested recipes with feedback from the community. So it's not something that's being sent through like, one of these cooking channels. So these are all been tested by the users, and it gives you all of the information you need, how many grams of carbs, how many grams of fat, how many grams of protein. So all of this is here. Make it easy for you, and all you do is actually tap on it if you eat it and put enter. And there's also desserts, picnic foods, name it. This is such a great app. And also there's a connect if you want to connect with your with a community. And and you also have like your goals, what your goals are, how much your weight going down, your daily log again. So, yep. So give that a try. And I'll go ahead and, I can't link anything here because that's an app, but I'll put the names of the apps that I use, but I will definitely link the Keto Mojo site, which also has all of these things with recipes and everything else. And so just check it out, and it's great information. So I hope this was really helpful, and feel free to leave me any comments or questions. And a question did come up and asking where can they buy the kit. So this is one of the answers that I wanted to give today. Okay, so thank you. Okay, welcome back, my beautiful wildflowers, for the second time. So, okay, you saw how the test was done. It's relatively easy. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And the reason why it's really important to do, I didn't go into this piece of it, and I should. The reason why you should do the GKI instead of testing just the sugar and just the glucose. No, I just said sugar is glucose, right? Ketones, okay, the ketones, because sometimes one can be elevated and the other one can be elevated and it works itself out. In other words, let's say you got a high sugar a little bit, 90s, but you also have a 2.0 of ketones. If you do the mathematics, you're still in good place. Whereas if you have like 0.2 of ketones and maybe 70 of sugar, you're not in a good place, you see? So there's a calculation into this. This is why it's much more accurate. It's just like taking a picture now in this state of being, boom, or getting a whole history of pictures that puts the puzzle together for you, right? And so, I mean, doing just blood sugar separately and doing ketones separately, it's just like having two pieces of puzzle and you don't know what that picture is yet. Whereas with GKI, the index, it puts it nicely together and you can see, oh, that's going to be a puppy. A picture of a puppy, right? And so this is how it works. And my beautiful wildflowers, I hope it was helpful. I try to keep it very short for you guys. And I don't know what the appetite for this is out there. No pun intended. But next time I will talk about if you can't get into ketosis. Why can't you get into ketosis? I'm going to talk about the hidden sugars and places that you would never guess, right? And also, like I talked about in the last time, what things you should avoid because it goes through glucogenesis and turns into what you would never think would turn into glucose or sugar, turns into sugar. So that's what I will be doing for you, okay? Alrighty, my beautiful wildflowers. I hope you guys have a good day, a good night, a good week, a good weekend, whenever you're watching this. It doesn't matter. Just remember, don't sweat the small stuff. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.